Home Stakes completing the two-year-old Triple Crown. It was a big day of racing, not only in Australia but internationally as well. And joining me, as always, from 3UZ radio station, Keith Hillier. Good morning, Keith.
Hi, Bruce. It was a fantastic performance for Burst to become the first filly to win the Triple Crown for two-year-olds. She's been to the track only 7 times. She's spent less than 10 minutes racing and she's earned $1.7 million.
It's not a bad return, is it, Max Presnell from the Sydney Morning Herald? What do you think of Burst and that performance yesterday, Max?
Top of the morning to you, gentlemen. Well, I thought it was a magnificent performance. I'd give Shane Dye the ride like a bag of flour and they'll cheer you in the stands award. I thought Shane overdid the patient bit, and I would give full marks to Clary Connors, because to get a filly, and this is a filly, this isn't a tough colt, a flighty filly that good for 3 two-year-old races of that pressure, by gee, that was some training feat.
Max, you'd have to have some award also for Yachty, 5 times in the minor placings in group races.
And Keith, there is little doubt, with luck, Yachty should have won yesterday, because Jim Cassidy had to stop riding Yachty on at least 3 occasions in the straight. Yachty was beaten 2 inches. One of those occasions undoubtedly would have got Yachty home. That's why I say Shane Dye overdid it. He got well back in a very, very slowly run mile. It was just the incredible ability of Burst, and she came home in figures that compared with Rough Habit last week. The incredible ability of Burst and a little bad luck by Yachty that won the day. But nevertheless, she's there. She's a great filly, and as I said before, a great training feat.
Max, just briefly, the last thing on Burst, is she going to be a 1,000 guineas horse, a flight stakes horse, a 1,600 metre horse, or will she stretch out to the Oaks at Flemington in the spring?
Well, I think that she's got the quality to stretch out to the Oaks. You don't necessarily have to be a Melbourne Cup horse to win the Oaks, and she's got that brilliance. She settles so sweetly. I think that she's an exceptional filly, and an exceptional filly's got a chance in anything.
It's a good point, Keith, because I think over the years a lot of non-staying fillies have been classy enough to win the Oaks, particularly at Flemington.
Yes, Bounding Away, I suppose, was an example of that. She was a slipper winner. I think Burst is clearly superior, Bruce, to anything that's about, and probably anything that's off the scene. She's the best by far, and she proved it. And Max, you're right, that was a fantastic performance by Clary Connors. Back-to-back Triple Crowns. Unheard of. Won't happen again.
Yes, it's an outstanding effort. What about the St Ledgers yesterday? Tough enough, Max. A good staying performance. What sort of a horse is this fellow?
A good staying performance, but again, and I don't want to dwell on jockeys and rides, Bruce, but you've got to point it out that it was a good ride by Cassidy. He had this horse in touch with the leaders, under pretty stern riding at the turn. Now, that was the factor that won him the race, because they crawled in the event, which made it very difficult for back markers. So while I was critical of Cassidy's ride on demerit in the Sydney Cup, I think he made up for it on Tough Enough yesterday.
OK, let's see how Jim did it in the St Ledger Stakes yesterday at Randwick.
They come to the 600 mark, and still Western Showdown the leader over Il Sorbo, Tough Enough, Lord Stapleton, Bellanos, Cavalieri. Further back then as they come to the turn, Valdano, followed by Our Best Prince and Escoffia last. On the turn into the straight in the St Ledger, and still the white blaze of Western Showdown shows out by about a neck to Il Sorbo. 3 lengths away, Tough Enough under pressure coming over the rise, followed by Bellanos, Valdano and Cavalieri looks to be struggling. Coming to the 200 mark, and it's Il Sorbo getting to the lead from Western Showdown, who won't give up. A length away, Tough Enough, who's grinding away. Il Sorbo, Western Showdown. Tough Enough is now coming at the pair of them and is going home the better. Tough Enough will win the St Ledger. Tough Enough came away to beat Il Sorbo, and Western Showdown.
Well, Jim Cassidy suggesting, Max, that Tough Enough goes on now to the Brisbane Cup.
Yes, I don't know whether he's got quite that quality, Bruce, but nevertheless, he is a tough New Zealand stayer. He's nothing to look at. He's got a good heart, and when you've got a good heart, well, nothing is really beyond you as far as 3,200 metre races are concerned.
And Bruce, he's trained Tough Enough by Dan Otham, a New Zealander, who has only 1 horse, and he paid $1,500 for Tough Enough.
It's not a bad result, is it? 1 out of 1 to have a St Ledger winner at Randwick. Well, we talked about Brisbane because that's where the scene's going to be in the next 6 or 7 weeks, along with Adelaide with their big carnival. The Kitchen Cup yesterday was the feature event at Doomben. Scalacci was scratched on Saturday morning. No surprise there. He's going to be one of the stars, obviously, in Brisbane, but he'll be saved for another day. Barossa Boy successful. Let's have a look at this performance. A very narrow victory over Sonic Express, and he's got an excellent record, this Western Australian sprinter.
Running to the home turn, 450 metres out, Chortle the leader. Barossa Boy second on the outside, followed by Whale of a Night going for a run in the middle and getting it. Boone's Break, Sonic Express next. Soho Square to the extreme outside, and they're clear of Viscount Waverley. Munt says go on the favourite, and at the 200, Barossa Boy has hit the lead from Chortle. Sonic Express is chasing the favourite now and looming as a danger. Barossa Boy just in front of Sonic Express. They're going to fight it out. Barossa Boy's just in front. Sonic Express grabbing him. They hit it. Barossa Boy kicked. He might have just won. A photo finish, Barossa Boy or Sonic Express. Tied for third, Soho Square, Whale of a Night, Viscount Waverley.
Chris Muntz, the winning jockey, rode 4 winners here yesterday. This horse has got an excellent record. He's won 18 out of 37 and $560,000.
He's a top-line sprinter, Bruce. Connections missed the nomination deadline for the Stradbroke Handicap. The late entry fee is $35,000, but yesterday's race was worth 100 long ones, so they're there. Yeah,
a good result for Barossa Boy. Scalacci, watch for him. Heroicity winning yesterday, Max, in Western Australia. He became the first Western Australian horse and to win $1 million in his home state by doing it in his home state there yesterday. And you saw him in the BMW. He was a hot favourite yesterday, but he did fall in a bit and he's probably at the end of his tether.
Yes, well, perhaps Heroicity is a good 3-year-old, but he's not as good as a couple of others.
OK, you're talking about obviously Naturalism and Viander Cross and a couple of those horses you saw there. Let's go to the Derby in Ascot yesterday. This horse, he looks to have it well and truly won on the home turn, but he is challenged strongly in the last 50 metres. The Grey Heroicity.
At the 600, Maroon by Flood, joined by Our Big Ben. Heroicity went to third around Lincoln's Court, held up. Jane of the Jungle can't go. Point Jevington pulled out, then only partly. Another Deadly Jungles, and their Flutters Biscuits on the turn in the Derby. Around the bend, and Maroon by Flood, joined by the great from WA, Heroicity. Back in the middle, Our Big Ben. Lincoln's Court is now down the outside at the 200, and Sestich has said go. Heroicity went to the lead. Lincoln's Court down the outside, and then Maroon by Flood. This is the third Derby for Sestich. Heroicity just in front, but he's going to get there. The champ Heroicity, a neck in the Derby. Lincoln's Court second, a length and a half. Maroon by Flood third.
Yes, Lincoln's Court and Maroon by Flood had very good form going into the race, and those 3 horses will probably be seen in Melbourne and maybe Sydney during the spring, but he's won the BMW Australian Derby and now the WA Derby Heroicity. The Straight 6 at Flemington yesterday, the most interesting race there. It was a big day at Flemington, Keith, with a lot of interesting highlights. Paddy Payne in particular.
Yes, he needs one winner only now, Bruce, to be the youngest apprentice ever to outright his claim. He's 14 days away from turning 17. Back 10 years ago, Christine Reeves in Tasmania was 17 years and 2 months and a few days when she did it, but Paddy will do it before his 17th birthday. Also yesterday, for the first time, the number came up for a lady jockey in the random drug and alcohol testing, and Christine Reeves, who won one of the jumping races, passed that test. But this finish, Marine Park, who's the fastest mare in the Hayes stable at present, is the most deceptive photo finish from the screen that I have seen. You watch Alias Combabash on the outside, and if it didn't win, if it wouldn't have got the decision without the camera, well, I'm not sitting in this seat next to you, Bruce.
You're certainly doing that, Keith. Let's have a look.
On the flat side rail, Marine Park is the leader by a length and a half. Benbara King second. They were being followed by Unique Cafe. Then behind them out for the count, Alias Combabash, and High Waters back behind them. T Habiter, Seguacino at the head of the others, followed by Grandiose and Rose of Demons. Pug for me. A good long gap to Omni Bay, Explosive Wonder, and down the grandstand side there. It's Explosive Wonder rather down the grandstand side. The leader here from Bahrain, and My Satin Star going very fast right over on the outside as they come to the 250 metre mark now, where Marine Park's got a big break on them down on the flat side. Here comes Alias Combabash alone in the centre, finishing on pretty stoutly, and My Saturn Star is down the grandstand side. Marine Park is the leader, getting close to home from Alias Combabash, who's going after it, and they go to the line, and I think more Alias Combabash maybe from Marine Park. They're wide apart.
Well, John Russell there, Keith, thinking that Alias Combabash won, and yesterday I think Greg Miles went for Marine Park, who was successful, and Brian Martin went for Alias Combabash, so it was hard for the callers as well.
I think Greg wanted to change after making an early declaration when he saw the replay. Bruce, Darren Gauci rode, or was beaten in 2 photo finishes yesterday. He did win on Miss Muncher, but he was suspended until May 22, and Danny Nikolic until May 24, both careless riding charges. OK,
so a mixed day, particularly there for the Gouch. Max, there's been enormous interest in Arazi and his appearance in the Kentucky Derby this morning. The super horse from France, he was unsuccessful, finishing in 8th place. But he's had a lot of press during the week, hasn't he? Yes, he certainly has. And before the Derby, well, his form was outstanding. I believe in the betting in Victoria,
They put up 5 to 4 on, which was regarded as a steal. That's in the Tabaret. So it just goes to show you there's no such thing as a real good thing.
You're dead right. Churchill Downs, 130,000 people this morning. Urazi, the super colt from France. Let's go to the track and see the big upset. And the winner here is Lil E.T. at odds of about 16 to 1. Here's the Derby.
Moving to the top of the stretch. Dance Floor leads it by 1. Casual Eyes in second by a head. Urazi on the outside. Now 3 of them tightly bunched as they turn for home. Dance Floor at the rail with a short lead. Urazi is next. Middle of the racetrack, Lil E.T. Here comes Casual Eyes putting in a run between horses. And down the stretch they come. Lil E.T. on the outside with Pat Day takes command. Casual Eyes is second and the others are dropping back. Coming through the stretch and to the wire. Lil E.T. on the outside has the lead by 1. Casual Eyes is second. Lil E.T. wins the Derby by 1 with Pat Day aboard.
So upsetting there for Urazi, finishing 8th. The third horse, Dance Floor, is owned by that rap dancer, Hammer, just for the record. OK, overnight, the 2,000 guineas at Newmarket. Keith, you knew that. The 2,000 guineas at Newmarket, a triumph for Lester Pickett, the 56-year-old jockey, owned by Robert Sangster, this horse, Rodrigo Di Triano, and trained by Peter Chappell-Hyam, who's the son-in-law of Andrew Peacock. Let's go to the closing stages of the 2,000 guineas.
On the far side is Lester Pickett. Rodrigo Di Triano going through. Lester Pickett's 30th Classic winner. Rodrigo Di Triano from Pursuit of Love. On the stand side, finishing fast is Lucky Lindley. Rodrigo Triano, Lucky Lindley, Pursuit.
Yes, he'd overcome a setback to win the first of the Triple Crown races. So we've had a Triple Crown completed here in Australia and the first of the Triple Crowns in the United States and England. Thanks, Keith. You're back a winner during that?
No, I didn't, Bruce, but we've been around the racing world in 15 minutes this morning. I've enjoyed that, and I'll see you next week. The Bull, Warrnambool this week in racing.
Looking forward to that. And Max, thank you very much for your contribution over the last couple of months with Sydney. It's been terrific, mate.
My pleasure.
I've enjoyed the little jousting. We take a break. Richard Agus and hockey after this.
New arrivals.